This review covers the 1964 Ford Modified Stalker. It's a 125 scale kit from AMT number 13831. Now, it's a skill level 2 kit that's rated for, the intermediate builder, but that might be a little much. I think just about anybody with a few kits under their belt can build this model and make it look pretty nice. It's a fairly easy builder. The roots of stock car racing go back to the back roads of the Carolinas during Prohibition and the rise of dirt tracks in the South there. By the 1960s, stock car racing had developed into a thrilling and dynamic sport that captivated fans across the U.S. In those days, stock car racing was more than just a sport. It was an exhilarating experience for the fans and the drivers alike. Re-released in 2023, this kit is based on the original 1964 2-in-1 annual kit, and there are a few parts left over in the kit from that original issue. It builds as a circle track modified stock race car and can't be built as OEM stock. It's got about 130 parts molded in white clear and chrome. The tires are two-piece oversized slicks with Goodyear lettering pad printed on the sidewalls. When you're done, it measures about 9 inches long, 2¼ inches high, and 3½ inches wide. Here are the decals for the kit, and they're pretty interesting. As you can see, there's an attempt there to make some of the numbers look hand-painted or even made out of tape. But in this case, I used the larger ones there and hand-painted the number on top of the car, which is required for scorekeepers at the tracks. Construction starts with the engine. As you can see, the parts are painted here. The block is blue and the heads. You got some chrome valve covers and the fan up front. The headers are, high heat white, and we've got an aluminum manifold, a black air cleaner, and the transmission has been painted a steel color. Now, lurking underneath that great big air cleaner, you'll know, is a gold tone huge 4-barrel carburetor. Even though the parts for the motor are fairly simple mold design, it really looks impressive when you put it all together. And you can see it here on the stand for both the left and the right profiles. And when you're done, it'll fit into that large engine bay just right. Here's a look at those massive slicks. You see the outer wheel there has been painted body color, and then the inner wheel's flat black. Now go ahead and insert the backside of the slicks, the two-part wheels together, and you can use some super glue to put those together, and then go ahead and insert the wheel backing and front portion and let those set for a little while to dry. To add a little authenticity, I removed the molded-in stock exhaust system with a rotary tool, and then the chassis, you see, comes from the old promo style type, which means everything was molded in. So I used a small burring tool and some knife blades to remove the old stuff, and then I used pipes from my parts box to make up a side exit exhaust. And now you can add those wheel assemblies to the spindles, and the engine goes in onto its mounts. There's plenty of room. Just make sure that it's flush there, and use some strong glue. Also remember, you have to remove chrome or paint when you want parts to stick together. One interesting detail for this kit is the fact that it comes with a tow bar. Back in those days, cars were flat towed to the racetrack, so it comes with brackets and the ability to go ahead and add your tow bar. And you see the red arrows point to where that's done on the model. Here's the parts for the interior, and we're going to use a little creativity here to make it look more authentic, and yet you see that the color for the dash and the seat, the steering wheel, etc., or column, they're kind of an odd color, but they're probably something like you would have found in the original car. Now, the outside panels, however, are aluminum panels, and so you can go ahead and assemble this with a nod to that original car color, along with the modifications necessary for a stock car. A couple of required safety features have to go into the interior. You see the roll cage here has been colored with body color, and of course, some flat black for the padding, etc. And also, we're going to add, your fire extinguisher there, which another requirement in case of a rollover and a fire. This was actually happened more often than not. Now it's time to prep the body, and you can see that red mark there by the C-pillar. That'll need to be cleaned up, as well as along the ridges of the upper fender wells and the drip rail there on over the main side window. They're very light. You just need to clean them up with a little bit of a sandpaper and get that body all prepped and smooth for a coat of primer. Now, back in the day, quite often the windows were kept to a bare minimum in most of these stockers. Some used the front and back glass, but mostly they didn't. So I chose to trim off the windshield, which has the stone guard on it, printed on it, and you could also just paint that with a flat clear in order to reduce the glare, so that it looks pretty much just like there's your stone guard in front. The rest of the glass was not used. The vent windows or the back glass was not used. Here you see the firewall radiator and some other underhood parts. They were painted, some of the gloss black, and they'll go into position. And it's also time to put the windows into place, no matter which portion of them you decide to use. And here you see the rear trim with the taillight bezels and the bumper and the crash bar. And those need to be installed before we mate the body and the chassis together. The front grille and bumper assembly comes with a grille guard. And for the best fit, that would require you to kind of remove the grille, at least center portion of it, to get that to fit in and be more flush. Now, also you note that it was painted black, flat black, and the headlights, they've been scraped clear of any chrome because those should be just fillers, no glass allowed up there. And then, of course, you got that front crash bar that goes into position as well. And this too must be assembled prior to you putting the body and the chassis together. And here you see that back end assembled, and also up at the top there, the number that I painted on top of the car. That's required for the tower scorekeepers, and they stayed with the car. Usually, they were painted in place when the car was built. And sometimes you'd see cars with the same numbers, and one or the other of them would probably have a temporary letter after the number, like an X made out of tape to tell them apart. And here's a look at that assembly up to this point. The grill's in place, the crash bar, and also you note that the hood has some hood latches that are detailed on it there, hood pins. We've got some chrome trim around the windshield, and also even got a side view mirror in place. Now you'll note that the tires are pretty large, and these are maybe slightly larger than you would have expected, but they did have very large tires in the fronts to stick to those circle tracks, especially the dirt ones. And so you can go ahead after you have the body in place and make sure that you square that up so that the tires are all evenly positioned, and you've got some good strong glue holding the body to the chassis. And now you can see the side view of the body, and you notice it's got a nice yellow color to it. That was painted first and then masked off, and then the rest of the orange color to the body. And you'll see the large forward oval there in front, and you'll see it in the back. Those were additional decals that I found in my parts box, so you can add to your model to make it a little more authentic and personal if you like. And as you can see here, it's a pretty interesting looking color scheme, and this happened a lot back in the day. They would make nice colorful paint jobs on their cars, so I would encourage you to go ahead and do that to yours as well. Now you can snap that tow bar into place on the brackets we installed earlier, and get ready to hook this up to the back of your pickup to drag over to the track and gain some glory and a trophy along with prize money. And here are the parts that are left over from this kit. Didn't use them all. Some are from other versions. And you can add those to your stash for a build down the road. Well, there you have it. Your kit is complete. There are no real difficulties building this kit. The crash bars in the front and the back, and as well as the side rails, they will require a little patience holding them in place while your glue dries. And if you want to add some authenticity and detail, you can do that. The suspension could even be replaced, parts, box pieces substituted for the exhaust. But, it takes a little extra time and some scratch building. But in the end, if you want something that really approaches the look of those great looking mid-60s and 70s stockers, go ahead and have at it. So, if I were you, I'd buy one and put it on my shelf.
Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet. Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet.